In Irish folklore, there is a spirit called the banshee. Her wail foretells the death of a family member. It is a sound of pure, unfiltered grief. In the 1990s, the world found its own banshee. Her name was Dolores O'Riordan. She stood barely 5 feet tall, but she had a voice that could knock down walls. It was sweet, it was angry, and it was undeniably broken. With the Cranberries, she gave us anthems like Linger and Zombie that defined a generation. But the pain in her voice wasn't an act, it wasn't a performance, it was real. On January 15th, 2018, the music stopped in a lonely hotel room in London. She was 46 years old. Today, we look past the rock star image to find the fragile woman underneath. This is the tragic true story of the girl who sang her demons away until she couldn't anymore. Dolores Mary Eileen O'Riordan was born in Limerick, Ireland in 1971. She was the youngest of 7 children, raised in a working-class Catholic family. Life wasn't easy. Her father suffered a brain injury that left him unable to work, and money was tight. But Dolores had an escape. She sang. By the time she was a teenager, she had a style that was completely her own, a mix of traditional Irish lilting and punk rock attitude. When she auditioned for a local band called the Cranberries saw us, the boys in the band were stunned. They handed her a cassette tape of music. The next day, she came back with the lyrics to a song called Linger. A star wasn't just born, she had arrived fully formed. The explosion was instant. The Cranberries became one of the biggest bands on the planet. America fell in love with this tiny Irish girl with the pixie haircut and the combat boots. But it was the song Zombie in 1994 that changed everything. Written in response to an IRA bombing that killed 2 children, it was a primal scream of anger. It showed that Dolores wasn't just a pop singer, she was a warrior poet. But fame is a heavy coat to wear, especially when you are already carrying invisible weights. While the world saw a confident rock star, Dolores was crumbling inside. She battled anorexia, struggling to eat under the pressure of the spotlight. She said, "I was just a little girl from Limerick. I wasn't ready for the world to look at me." For years, fans wondered where the deep melancholy in her lyrics came from. It wasn't until 2013 that Dolores revealed the heartbreaking truth. She told a newspaper that from the age of 8 to 12, she had been terribly abused by someone she trusted outside of her family. She carried this secret trauma for decades. It manifested in her music, in her eating disorders, and in her struggle to find peace. She said, "It's a heavy thing to carry. You bury it, but it always comes back." She sang to release the pain, but when the music stopped, the memories remained. This trauma was the root of the zombie inside her head, the demons that wouldn't let her sleep. As she entered her 40s, things began to spiral. In 2014, she was involved in an air rage incident on a flight from New York where she allegedly attacked a stewardess and a police officer. The media mocked her. They called her a diva or drunk. But the truth was much sadder. Following that incident, Dolores was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. She was swinging between manic highs and devastating lows. She spoke openly about it, saying, "When you are manic, you don't sleep, you get paranoid, and when you hit the low, it's terrible." She was fighting a chemical imbalance in her brain while trying to be a mother to her 3 children. She was trying so hard to get better. In January 2018, Dolores was in London for a recording session. She seemed to be in good spirits. She even left a voicemail for a friend hours before she died, sounding happy and excited about new music. But addiction is a thief that waits in the shadows. On the night of January 15th, alone in her room at the Hilton Hotel, she made a fatal mistake. She drank excessive amounts of alcohol and decided to take a bath. The coroner's report confirmed it was a tragic accident. She fell asleep in the water and drowned. There was no note, there was no intention to leave, just a moment of vulnerability that cost her everything. The silence that followed was deafening. When Dolores O'Riordan died, Ireland cried. Her voice was the sound of our own heartbreak, and now she was gone. But listen to her music today. Listen to Dreams. Listen to the way her voice cracks and soars. She took her pain, the abuse, the illness, the sadness, and she turned it into something beautiful for us. She gave us the comfort she couldn't find for herself. Dolores is no longer fighting. The zombie in her head is finally silent. Rest in peace, sweet angel. You are lingering with us forever. Dolores O'Riordan, 1971-2018.